Covenant Transport did something they'd never been able to do. They reduced driver turnover by over 20% in 1 year. Their WIG was to go from 106 to 86%. They ended up setting a company record at 82%. This was a huge win given driver turnover is their #1 priority.
There's one that is substantially higher than all the others, and that's how do you recruit and retain your professional driver. It's that simple. Now we have a huge driver problem because there's so many issues, so many variables coming at them. Demographics are changing, competition, regulations just pounding the industry and the drivers. And so getting people that want to drive a truck is a challenge. We'd never done 86% in our history, not even close. When we announced it to the group, you could see their eyes get about that big. Their mouths dropping open like, the old man's going crazy. He's gone nuts. What is he talking about? But you know what, through it all, at the end of the meeting, everybody said, you know what, folks? The reason it's that big is because we have to. We don't have a choice. We have to.
And you could tell after a couple of weeks of 40X and after implementing this and building these kind of battles, you could tell some of our drivers were kind of, taken back of, why do you care so much about me? I'm just another driver. So we really spent a lot of time communicating that they're not just another driver, that they're our #1 customer, that we need them in order to be successful.
Reducing driver turnover broke down into 3 strategic sub-WIGs, or you could say battles that were necessary to win the war. First, increasing miles for the drivers by reducing wait times for maintenance and repairs. Second, increasing communication to the degree to which Covenant's inside team members engage with the drivers. And third, increasing commitment accuracy of promised home time for the drivers.
Once they saw that we were taking into account how do we get them home on time, how do we get them more miles, how do we get them seated on a truck faster, all the lead measures that our company had produced and our department of operations had set aside just for them, it really showed how much we cared.
The body shop set their WIG to reduce repair downtime from 8.65 hours to 7.65 hours. They got it down to a remarkable 2.3 hours.
So each repair averaged 2.3 hours.
From what was the start? From what was the
8.65 hours.
Did you think that that was possible when you started?
No, I didn't. We always, like before we brought a wreck in, we would go out, like one of the lead measures where we'd go out and we would get a parts list on the next truck that was coming in, even though we were working on a truck already. That way, whenever we were ready to bring the truck in, the parts were already delivered and we were ready to go on the tractor.
The payroll department had the team WIG of reducing payroll delivery time by 24 hours. Not only did they exceed their 24-hour target, they also were able to engage the drivers in the process.
We would pick lead measures that caused us to contact the drivers all the time and speak with them and in a lot of cases get to know them, which we weren't doing before. So we ended up building a lot of great relationships between payroll coordinators and some of the drivers on our fleet that we didn't have when we started the WIG process.
The safety department set their WIG to reduce safety-related turnover from 12% to 6%. They got it down to 8%. Now this was short of their WIG, but it was still a company record.
8% for our safety department is the lowest that it's ever been. So even though the goal wasn't met, it's still a record that we've never seen before. Our #1 thing, it was to change the behavior of our own staff, to think every time I talk to a driver, instead of just going bang, 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 here's the conversation, here's the answer, take that extra second to say, hey, did you know that our #1 trend right now is this or that? So, taking the education to the drivers was key. Once we were able to get everybody into the feeling that they started to make a difference, I think the first few times they started to see our graph go down, that things were changing, that's when the energy started, we started to get momentum, and everybody just, all of a sudden everybody was they were doing it without having to be asked. It became it was a habit, and once we got that, it was just smooth sailing from there on out.
Risk management's team WIG was to engage 4,226 drivers, and they did that.
We're risk management, so we always kind of see the bad side of everything, because we have the accidents and all the incidents coming in. So we wanted to do something where we was favorable toward the drivers, get to know the drivers one-on-one as they are, as, you know, moms, dads, husbands, wives, and everything. So we come up with driver engagement, so we can get out and meet our drivers one-on-one, you know, just a first name basis, become co-workers. Another part of our goal was to do feedback to our executives. What's our drivers really want? What do they really need? So we started talking with them, and one of the other ladies and I in our department, we decided on Saturdays, one of the biggest things the drivers needed was a home-cooked meal. So we would come in on Saturdays, we would cook them a different meal every Saturday for a lunch, and we would come in here and serve them, and it was just overwhelming. You know, they were just so thankful and just, you know, appreciative. So we just kept building on that, and that's what our week was for last year, to know our drivers and what they really needed.
Reducing driver turnover from 106 to 82% meant that Covenant Transport retained 242 drivers that otherwise they would have lost.
But 242 drivers, when you're sitting in a management session celebrating, and there's some 50 managers in there, it's really easy to convey to them that this room, that we'd have 242 drivers in this room that would not have been here if it wasn't for your help. What does that look like for the organization? Well, 242 is the difference between you making bonus and you not making bonus. It's the difference between us growing and us shrinking.
I would say our fourth quarter was the best quarter that we've had in 12 years. You know, was it all because of that wig? I don't know. I think it was a significant part of it, because we have a lot of people working, our turnover had dropped, our margins were improving greatly, customers were giving us a lot of freight. It just traveled all together. And I do believe it's a big part of helping us, you know, achieve one of the best quarters we've had in a long, long time.
One day at about 4 o'clock, a driver brought his tractor up to the shop and he needed a new hood. And so instead of, we bring it back tomorrow, we've only got 30 minutes to work. I got out there and said, let's go, guys, we're going to get this guy's hood on his truck. So we started taking his hood off, and we had it done in 30 minutes. And the driver said, he sat in the truck and watched us work, and he said we looked like a damn NASCAR team out there fixing that truck for him.